Have you ever felt a place watching you? Like the air itself knows something you don't. Georgia, the land of peaches, history, and southern charm, hides places that'll make your heart skip a beat. Some are beautiful, some are tragic, and some are so strange, they make you question if reality took a wrong turn somewhere down the road. Today we're exploring the 5 weirdest places in Georgia. Trust me, the last one might just haunt your dreams. 1. Bonaventure Cemetery. If cemeteries had personalities, Bonaventure would be that elegant woman in an old black dress, graceful, quiet, but with eyes that have seen far too much. Tucked away on the outskirts of Savannah, this isn't your typical graveyard. It's a sprawling garden of stone angels, moss-draped trees, and marble faces that seem to follow you as you walk by. Sunlight filters through ancient oaks, and every gust of wind carries whispers you can't quite explain. But what makes it truly weird isn't just how stunning it looks, it's the energy. Locals say you can feel it the moment you enter. Some visitors claim their phones die for no reason. Others talk about hearing children laugh when no one's around. And then there's little Gracie. She died young in the 1800s, and her statue, carved so perfectly it looks alive, sits by her grave. People leave toys, candy, even coins. But here's the eerie part. Some say if you take one of those offerings, Gracie appears in your dreams, crying. Bonaventure isn't just a resting place. It's like time froze, and the spirits stayed to keep watch. Beautiful, peaceful, and deeply unsettling, all at once. 2. Old Car City. Drive north to the small town of White, Georgia, and you'll find something that feels like a rusted dream, or maybe a memory that nature decided to keep. Welcome to Old Car City, the largest classic car junkyard in the world. Over 4,000 cars, Chevys, Fords, Chryslers, all parked in crooked lines, slowly being swallowed by the forest. Trees grow through windshields, vines crawl over hoods, sunlight hits the chrome and throws strange reflections into the woods. What's weird is how alive the place feels. Every car has a story, a life once driven, a song once played on the radio. Now they sit in silence, collecting rust and secrets. The owner, Dean Lewis, calls it a memory forest. He's right. Walking through it feels less like visiting a junkyard and more like wandering through time. You start imagining who once sat in those seats, who turned those keys. And after a while, it's not the cars that feel haunted, it's you, because you start realizing how fast things and people are forgotten. Old Car City isn't just weird, it's hauntingly poetic, a graveyard of dreams still standing in the woods of Georgia. 3. Passaquan. Now this one's pure madness. In the tiny town of Buena Vista, hidden behind fields and pine trees, stands a place that looks like someone built a temple after having a conversation with the universe. It's called Passaquan, and it was created by a man named Eddie Owens Martin, or as he called himself, St. Eom. He claimed he had visions that beings from the future visited him and told him to build this place as a portal between worlds. And so he did. For nearly 30 years, walls covered in neon paint, giant faces, swirling symbols, mosaics, spirals. Everywhere you look, color explodes. The patterns don't make sense, but somehow they do. It's like walking inside someone's dream that doesn't want to end. Locals thought he'd lost his mind. Some called it art, others called it witchcraft. But when you stand there, surrounded by his creation, you start to wonder, maybe he actually creation. You start to wonder, maybe he actually saw something we can't understand. St. Eom died decades ago, but his masterpiece, this strange electrified universe, remains. And if you stand still long enough, the wind there almost feels like it's trying to speak his language. Passaquan isn't just weird, it's otherworldly, proof that sometimes madness and genius live in the same house. 4. Providence Canyon. When people first see Providence Canyon, they call it Georgia's Little Grand Canyon. Red, orange, and pink cliffs cut deep into the earth, stretching across the horizon. It's breathtaking. But the story behind it, a disaster in disguise. Back in the 1800s, farmers in the area didn't know much about soil erosion. They plowed and planted without rest, season after season, until the ground began to crack, then collapse. Over the years, the land literally fell apart. What started as small gullies grew into massive chasms, some more than 150 feet deep. And that's how this canyon was born, not from nature's patience, but from human neglect. Now Providence Canyon stands as a beautiful reminder of how badly we can scar the earth, and how strangely stunning those scars can become. It's the kind of place that messes with your emotions. You feel awe and guilt at the same time. You stand there thinking, we ruined this? And yet it's one of the most beautiful sights in the state. Nature doesn't hide her mistakes, she turns them into lessons. Providence Canyon is one of them. 5. The Doll's Head Trail. Now let's talk about the weirdest one of them all. Deep inside Constitution Lakes Park, just outside Atlanta, there's a trail that's unlike anything you've ever seen. It's called the Doll's Head Trail, and it's exactly what it sounds like. Doll heads, everywhere. Heads stuck on sticks, eyes staring from trees, broken toys arranged like shrines in the dirt. The first time someone told me about it, I thought they were joking, but it's real. The trail was started by a local artist named Joel Slayton, who wanted to turn trash left in the woods into art. So he began collecting old doll parts, bottles, scraps, anything washed up from the nearby creek, and built an entire path lined with them. At first it was meant to be quirky, but over time visitors started adding their own pieces, more dolls, signs, even poems. And that's when the vibe changed, because when you see hundreds of cracked doll faces smiling in silence, the forest doesn't feel quiet anymore. It feels aware. Some say at dusk you can hear whispering. Others say the dolls move, just slightly when you're not looking. Of course, there's no proof. But the unsettling energy, that's undeniable. The Doll's Head Trail isn't haunted in a ghost story way. It's haunted because it reflects us, our waste, our creativity, and our need to make something strange out of what's been forgotten. It's art, horror, and humor, all tangled together in one bizarre Georgia forest. So what do these 5 places have in common? They're all born from contradiction, beauty tangled with decay, art wrapped around madness, tragedy turned into wonder. Bonaventure whispers that even death can be beautiful. Old Car City reminds us that the things we build will outlive us, but in ways we never expect. Passaquan shouts that imagination has no limits. Providence Canyon proves that mistakes can shape landscapes. And the Doll's Head Trail shows that weirdness might just be the most honest kind of art. Each one is a mirror, showing us something about who we are, what we create, and what we leave behind. Georgia isn't just sweet tea and sunshine. It's a state where history sleeps with one eye open. If you ever visit these places, don't rush. Don't just snap a picture and move on. Stand still, listen, let the silence talk. Because every stone, every car door, every painted wall and broken doll has a story to tell. You just have to be quiet enough to hear it. And maybe, just maybe, you'll realize the weirdest thing about these places isn't the ghosts, or the art, or the ruins. It's how much of us lives inside them. So tell me, which one of these 5 strange places would you dare to visit alone after dark? Drop your answer in the comments. And if you've ever stumbled upon a weird or haunted spot in your state, share it below. Because who knows, your story might just be in the next video.
Close your eyes for a second. Picture a place where trees swallow the sunlight, where water whispers secrets over stone, where a quiet country road makes your car climb uphill, and where the past stands still behind iron gates. Connecticut, small, green, New England, hides pockets of true weirdness. Tonight we're peeling back the polite postcard to walk into 5 of the state's strangest, eeriest corners. Some are open to the public, some are not. All of them still give people the chills. 1. Dudleytown. We begin in the dark entry forest, a bowl of trees pressed together so tightly the sun fights to reach the ground. Tucked inside is Dudleytown, a settlement that died out a century and a half ago, and then somehow was reborn as a legend. Stories say crops failed, families went mad, and a curse followed the name Dudley. The truth is messier. It was a struggling farming community like many others in the 1800s that people left when better land opened up. But once the rumor engine started, the tales grew teeth. People swore they heard voices, saw strange lights, or felt watched in the valley. Because of harassing visitors and vandalism over the years, the land where Dudleytown sits is privately owned and closed to the public as a protected forest. If you want the story, go through the history books, but don't try to walk the ruins. That barrier between curiosity and trespass has helped keep the place mysterious. 2. Devil's Hop Yard. From the shadowed valley to open water, our path leads east to Devil's Hop Yard State Park. Here, sandstone bluffs drop into pools that reflect the sky like black glass, and Chapman Falls tumbles into a gash in the rock. There's a story attached to those round potholes. Some say the devil himself left a hoof print in the stone while fleeing up the falls. Whether you believe in the devil or not, sit on the rocks in the early morning and you'll feel a different kind of chill, the constant small roar of water and something very old in the stones. Crucially, this is a place you can visit. Devil's Hop Yard is a public state park, open daily and popular with hikers and photographers. Walk the trails, stand above the plunge pool, and imagine the early settlers who named this place after something darker than a hopping vine. 3. Gravity Hill, the road that tricks your eyes. Now picture a quiet country lane. The trees lean over the road like cathedral ribs. You stop your car at the bottom of a slight slope, put it in neutral, and the vehicle seems to roll uphill. It's the kind of trick that makes you slam the brakes, then laugh nervously at yourself. This is Sterling's Gravity Hill, the optical illusion that has spawned more than a few ghost stories, including one about a witch named Margaret Henry, who, legend says, still nudges cars away from her land. Scientists are less dramatic. Gravity hills work because the horizon is hidden, and the surrounding landscape fools your brain about which way is uphill. But legends don't care about physics. They care about the moment your skin goes tight and your friends start to whisper. The spot is on public residential roads, so if you drive out, be respectful. You're in people's neighborhoods, not a movie set. 4. Union Cemetery. From roadside illusions to graveyard whispers, Union Cemetery in Easton is one of those places that seems older than time. The stones here go back to the 1700s, their names worn soft by centuries of weather. The cemetery picked up a darker reputation in the late 20th century when well-known paranormal investigators claimed to have captured a white lady on film, a pale figure seen slipping between the headstones or appearing on the road beside the cemetery. Witness accounts range from the strange to the unnerving, drivers reporting a woman in white at the roadside, even claims from local first responders who say they once hit something that left a dent but no blood or body. Whether the white lady is sorrow made manifest, a folklore staple, or a string of misremembered moments, the place hums with story. Union Cemetery is publicly accessible during the day, but, like most graveyards, it's closed after dark. Go during daylight, walk slowly, and let the history press against you. 5. Holy Land, USA. Our last stop looks, at a glance, like a chapel left on a stage mid-scene, a huge illuminated cross on a hill, replica villages half-standing, the ghostly outlines of a once festive place called Holy Land, USA. Built in the 1950s as a live, family-friendly biblical attraction, it closed in the 1980s and fell into ruin. In 2014, the cross was refurbished and the site reopened on weekends. But the park's decay and a grisly 2010 murder near the property hardened its reputation as haunted. The death of a young girl whose body was found near the site shifted local talk from nostalgic loss to chilling headlines. Today, the cross can be seen glowing on the hill during daytime visits, and the crumbling nativity scenes make for a strangely cinematic backdrop, one that looks almost staged for a horror film, even though these are real places with real grief tied to them. If you visit, remember, part of what makes Holy Land, USA eerie is that it is a space of faith that time forgot, and the stories people tell their mixed devotion with loss. The site is currently accessible to the public during daylight hours. Why these places matter? You might be asking, why hunt ghosts at all? Why stand at a waterfall and imagine hoofprints, or park a car on a road and wait to be fooled? Places like Dudleytown, Devil's Hop Yard, Gravity Hill, Union Cemetery, and Holy Land, USA are not just tourist curiosities, they're social mirrors. They reflect what a community fears and what it remembers. Legends gather meaning over the years. An abandoned house becomes cursed, not because the beams creak, but because memory and story pile on top of the facts. A park is named for the devil not because devils roam, but because a people tried to explain a place that felt dangerous. A road becomes haunted because people love the small thrill of defying logic. These sites are where history, myth, and the human need for narrative meet. Safety, respect, and the thin line between thrill and trespass. If you're curious enough to visit, remember 2 rules. First, always check access rules. Some places, Dudleytown for instance, are private and off-limits for good reasons, including safety and conservation. Others, state parks and town cemeteries, welcome visitors but expect respectful behavior. Second, treat the living and the dead with dignity. Don't climb fences, don't pull down crosses, and don't treat real tragedies like props for a viral video. Ghost stories are fun, but the people tied to these places deserve our respect. A challenge for you, the listener. Before we go, here's a small experiment. Think of the strangest place you've ever driven through, a hollow that felt colder, a field where your hair stood on end. Why did it feel strange? Was it the light? The story you'd heard? Or was it something your eyes and ears were telling you? Because sometimes the scariest thing is the human mind trying to stitch meaning together from small, lonely details. Now it's your turn. Which of these places made your skin crawl the most?
Florida, the land of beaches and theme parks. But what if I told you there's another Florida? One where a forgotten brick bench in a cemetery might summon the devil if you sit at midnight. Cars roll uphill by themselves, and monsters roam the swamps. These are real places, and they're just the beginning. Buckle up. We're about to explore the 5 strangest, creepiest, and most mysterious spots in the Sunshine State. 1. The Devil's Chair. Our journey begins in Cassadaga, a quiet little town north of Orlando. But Cassadaga isn't just any town. It's known as the psychic capital of the world. Since 1895, spiritualists, mediums, and believers in the afterlife have lived here, claiming the place sits on powerful energy vortices. The entire town hums with strange, peaceful energy, but deep inside its old cemetery sits something that's not peaceful at all: the Devil's Chair. It's just a red brick bench between 2 graves. Ordinary by day, but by night, it becomes one of Florida's creepiest legends. Locals say if you sit there at midnight, you can hear whispers. Some claim they've seen a dark figure sitting beside them. Others say an unseen voice spoke their name. But the strangest part? If you leave a sealed beer can on the chair overnight, people swear it's mysteriously empty by morning. Untouched, unbroken, just empty. One story tells of a teenager who took the midnight dare one Halloween. He sat on the chair, laughing, until he screamed. When friends ran back, he was gone. Only his flashlight was found, still glowing on the ground. Whether that story is true or not, the chair remains, silent, cold, and waiting. And every year, new people come to test their courage. From Cassadaga's haunted cemetery, we move south, into Florida's endless wetlands, where the real monsters might still be alive. 4. Skunk Ape Territory. The Everglades, 1.5 million acres of thick swamp, cypress forests and winding rivers. Beautiful and eerily quiet. But hidden within that silence, locals say, lives something that's been seen for generations. A massive, human-like creature called the skunk ape. Think Bigfoot, but Floridian. Witnesses describe it as a 7-foot-tall, shaggy beast with glowing red eyes and a smell so strong it could make you gag, a mix of rotten eggs and swamp gas. Hunters, campers, and even park rangers have reported sightings. One famous photo from the 1970s shows a dark, ape-like face peering from the mangroves, its eyes wide and strangely human. In the tiny town of Ochapi stands the Skunk Ape Research Headquarters, run by a man named Dave Sheely. He spent his life tracking these creatures and swears they're real, intelligent, nocturnal, and extremely elusive. He claims to have seen not one but 3 skunk apes together in the wild, and he believes the government knows more than they're saying. Skeptics laugh, calling it folklore. But if you spend a night deep in Big Cypress, where the frogs croak like drums and mist hangs low, it's easy to understand why people believe. Every snapping branch sounds heavier than it should. Every shadow feels alive. Whether myth or monster, the skunk ape represents Florida's wilder side, unpredictable, untamed, and still holding secrets. To a man who might have discovered the secret to defying gravity itself. Coral Castle. Imagine carving a 20-ton stone, alone. Now imagine building an entire castle from 1,100 tons of coral rock, with no modern machines, no help, and no one ever seeing you do it. That's exactly what Edward Leeds Kalnin did. In the 1920s, this quiet Latvian immigrant began building something incredible in Homestead, Florida, a place now called Coral Castle. He worked mostly at night, hidden from the world, moving massive coral blocks with such precision that scientists still can't explain how. The walls, tables, chairs, sundials, and even a perfectly balanced gate, all carved by one man. When asked how he did it, Ed would just smile and say, "I know the secrets of the pyramids." He was heartbroken, abandoned by his fiancée just before their wedding. Some believe he built Coral Castle as a monument to his lost love, but others think Ed had discovered something deeper, an ancient technique for levitation or magnetism that allowed him to move stones with ease. Decades later, engineers have studied his work, and they're still baffled. Even today, the castle gate, weighing several tons, can swing open with a single finger. Visitors say the place feels charged, almost magnetic. Some swear their compasses spin near certain walls. Maybe it's love. Maybe it's physics. Or maybe Ed really did uncover a secret meant to stay buried. But if you thought defying gravity was strange, wait till you see the hill where gravity itself seems to reverse. Third, Spook Hill. There's a small, unassuming central Florida with a faded sign that reads, Spook Hill, the legend. Locals will tell you to stop your car at the white line, put it in neutral, and take your foot off the brake. And that's when the impossible happens. Your car slowly rolls uphill. No engine, no push. It just moves. People have been visiting Spook Hill for generations, trying to make sense of it. Scientists say it's just an optical illusion, a gravity hill where the surrounding terrain tricks your eyes. But Floridians know there's more to the story. One legend says centuries ago, a great Native American chief fought a monstrous alligator here. Their spirits still battle in the afterlife, causing the strange pull of energy that makes cars roll uphill. Another version claims it's haunted by 2 pirate ghosts buried beneath the road, forever trying to escape their watery graves. Day after day, travelers come, park their cars, and watch them creep backward up the slope. Kids laugh, parents stare, and some say they feel an invisible tug, as if unseen hands are pushing from behind. Maybe it's just science. Or maybe something under that hill refuses to rest. From Spook Hill, our journey moves deeper. But now our final stop takes us to a place built not by beasts or ghosts, but by people. People who thought the world itself was inside out. 5. The Koreshan Unity. In the late 1800s, a man named Dr. Cyrus Teed had a revelation. He believed Earth was hollow. Not that there was an empty space inside it, but that we were living inside that hollow sphere. He called it cellular cosmogony, and it became the foundation of his new religion, Koreshanity. In 1894, he gathered about 200 followers and founded a utopian community in Estero, southwest Florida. They called it the Koreshan Unity, a self-sustaining society with their own bakery, power plant, printing press, and art hall. They believed everything, stars, sun, and universe, existed inside the Earth's shell. To prove it, they even built an enormous measuring device called a rectilineator and ran experiments along the beach, claiming to have found proof that the horizon curved upward. For a while, it worked. The town flourished, strict but peaceful. Men and women were equal. Everything was shared. But when Teed died in 1908, his followers refused to bury him, waiting for his resurrection. Days passed, then weeks, until authorities finally intervened. After that, the community slowly faded away. By 1962, the last remaining Koreshan turned the land over to the state. Today, the site stands frozen in time. Wooden houses, old gardens, a silent printing shop. Walk its empty paths, and you can almost hear Teed preaching about a world within a world. The place feels calm, but strange, as if reality bends just slightly around it. Maybe they were dreamers. Maybe they were delusional. But they built something extraordinary, a living reminder that Florida's weirdness isn't just found in ghosts or monsters, but in people too. From a devil's chair that tempts the brave, to a castle built by a heartbroken genius. From gravity-defying roads to swamp monsters and hollow earth believers, Florida proves that weirdness here isn't the exception. It's the rule. And the truth? The deeper you look, the stranger it gets. So tell me, which one would you dare to visit first? Or do you know a place in Florida even weirder than these 5? Comment your pick below. And don't forget to subscribe, because next time, we're uncovering another corner of America that's even stranger than this one. Thanks for watching. And remember, in Florida, the sunshine never hides the shadows for long.
You think you know Delaware? Wrong. Delaware may be small, but its weirdness is massive. Today we're uncovering 5 places so strange, so jaw-dropping, you won't believe they exist. All in one tiny state. 1. The merman that fools brains. Our first stop is Lewis, a sleepy coastal town with a Dutch-style museum that looks straight out of Amsterdam. But inside, it hides one of Delaware's strangest oddities. A merman. Yes, a half-human, half-fish creature that once drew curious crowds trying to figure out if it was real. Locals debated, scientists laughed, and tourists snapped photos for decades. Even today, staring at it makes your brain question reality for a second. But that's not all. The museum is full of shipwreck relics, colonial artifacts, and maritime oddities that feel like stepping into a storybook. If the storybook had a dark twist. Don't miss. The shipwreck exhibits. Some of these pieces are over 300 years old and still look eerie. Pro tip: visit in the morning. The sunlight hitting the brick facade makes the museum look mystical, like it's guarding centuries-old secrets. Even though the merman isn't real, the museum leans into the myth and mystery, making it a must-see for anyone chasing weird history vibes. Quick question to you: if you found a real merman, would you keep it in a museum or run away screaming? 2. Fort Delaware. Next, hop on a ferry to Pea Patch Island to explore Fort Delaware, a Civil War fortress with a chilling past. This island once imprisoned Confederate soldiers. Life there was harsh. Disease, hunger, and isolation were common. Walking through its dark cells today, you can almost feel the echoes of the past. Some visitors claim to hear whispers, footsteps, or see shadows that vanish when you look at them. Why it's weird? It's not just a historical site. It's a haunted museum where history and paranormal stories collide. Don't miss the ferry ride itself. Emerging from the mist and seeing the fortress looming feels like stepping into a ghost story. Night tours are legendary. Bring a flashlight and your bravest friends. The island feels entirely different after dark. Weird fact: some say the ghosts are playful, some say they're angry. Either way, your brain won't stop wondering if something just moved in the corner of your eye. 3. The Oddporium Arden Oddities. Now let's get a little quirky. In the town of Arden, there's a shop that collects the weirdest objects you've ever seen. Welcome to the Oddporium. Walk in, and it's like a curiosity cabinet exploded. Taxidermy animals, antique medical tools that look like medieval torture devices, and strange trinkets you don't even know the purpose of, all lined up to stare right back at you. It's like someone bottled human obsession and put it on shelves. You'll spend hours just staring at things thinking, who thought of this? Pro tip: talk to the shop owner. Locals in Arden have the best stories, and a few of them are probably weirder than anything in the shop. Fun fact, Oddporium is part shop, part museum, part human curiosity experiment. Visiting feels like stepping into a parallel universe of weirdness. 4. Slaughter Beach. The name alone is enough to raise eyebrows. But the real weirdness? It's alive and crawling. Every spring, millions of horseshoe crabs crawl onto the shore to spawn. And waiting for them? Thousands of migrating red knot birds, turning the beach into prehistoric chaos. Watching this is like seeing nature's oldest ritual unfold in real time. Why it's weird? The sheer scale, crabs moving like clockwork, birds diving like missiles, and humans standing quietly, amazed. You feel like you're witnessing prehistory. Pro tip: stay back, move slowly, and respect the wildlife. You're a guest at an ancient festival that's been happening for millions of years. Weird bonus: locals swear the fog sometimes looks almost human, like it's alive. Your imagination will run wild here. 5. Ashland Covered Bridge. Finally, let's slow things down with Ashland Covered Bridge. It's small, wooden, and incredibly old. But step onto it, and suddenly traffic noise fades, your phone notifications disappear, and the world feels analog. The bridge muffles sound and time. Cross it, pause, and it feels like you've traveled back to the 1800s. Why it's weird? It's not haunted, it's not alive, yet it has this odd ability to change perception. You cross, and the modern world seems distant. Don't miss. Pause in the middle, close your eyes, and listen. The creek, the birds, the wood under your feet. It's surprisingly immersive. Pro tip: pair it with the nearby Ashland Nature Center for maximum slow time, nature, and weird vibes. How to hit all 5 in one-day trip. If you want to experience all the weirdness without running yourself ragged. 1. Morning, Arden for Oddporium, get your mind blown. 2. Late morning, Ashland Covered Bridge, step into a time warp. 3. Afternoon, Zwanendale Museum, meet the merman and check the shipwrecks. 4. Sunset, Slaughter Beach, prehistoric chaos in slow motion. 5. Night, Fort Delaware, spooky ghost tour to cap it all off. Trust me, this tiny state packs enough weirdness for a lifetime. Now it's your turn. If you could visit only one of these places, which would it be? Comment below. I'll give you a mini itinerary for the one you pick, with exact spots to see the weirdest, creepiest, most jaw-dropping parts.